Manchester United having a meeting with Benjamin Sesko's agents. There's been a lot of rumours of Sesko to United, and could negotiations begin? Big update on Todibo, confirming United still want Todibo, and there is a feeling if United want Todibo, the deal will be done because of Ratcliffe's relationship with Nice. Other transfer news on potential left-back signings. Of course, there's rumours around Elise, but Sir Jim Ratcliffe has cancelled the Manchester United awards. He's saying, focus on the end of the season, focus on the FA Cup. You don't need an award ceremony and more. But we're also going to be doing a 5 things we learned from Manchester United, nil, Arsenal 1. So we're going to get into all the news on transfers, the awards being cancelled, and then we're going to talk about 5 things we learned from our 1-0 loss to Arsenal. But there is a lot of positives from that 5 things we learned. I think Amat and Amrabat were some of the positives, so do stay tuned for that. But let's quickly get the news out the way first. And of course, guys, if you're new, do subscribe for daily United content and hit the like button as we sum up the news. So Academy Scoop is one of a number of sources that confirm this, and a photo confirmed this, that Benjamin Sesko's agents were present at Old Trafford during Manchester United's defeat to Arsenal today. The Venian centre-forward is red-hot form at the moment and is high on United's list for a new striker to support Rasmus Højlund. Now, this has been said by multiple sources. Now, he has also been linked to Arsenal. Sesko has been linked to Manchester United, Arsenal, and Newcastle. Has a 43 million release clause. Is 20 years of age, and considering his hot form, it could be a brilliant bargain deal. There are other sources that are less reliable going about saying that United have actually had negotiations with Sesko's agents and they're talking about getting a deal done when the window opens. Now, I like Benjamin Sesko, and I think value for money, that is a great transfer, that is a great deal, but I don't actually think he's what United need. I think it's another profile similar to Højlund that's young, that's 20 years of age, and I think a big problem with United, and I'm going to talk about this in our 5 things we learned, is we don't get our strikers involved in play. We don't play a way to get our strikers involved. Erling Haaland wouldn't be very involved in Man United's games. He wouldn't be very good at United because of the way we play. I almost think that United need more of a centre-forward type profile, a bit like Firmino was at Liverpool, where he drops deeper and the striker's role is to facilitate the wingers, so the wingers get better output rather than go for an out-and-out striker, because we don't seem to involve an out striker on play. And that's why I do think a Xerxes or a Cunha could be more suited to Manchester United, even a João Pedro, a João Felix type player. Someone that doesn't get crazy goal scoring numbers, but someone that, like Firmino, can facilitate the wingers. Because if you've got Elise, who's an output monster, you've got Rashford, who went in form as an output monster, and a striker that facilitates them and gets the most out of them. And Martial did elements of this when he was good. I think it would work better than Sesko. And of course, I think Garnacho has potential to be an output monster as well. Anyway, continuing on into other transfer stories. I don't want to make this video too long, and I do want to talk about 5 things we learned. I said that Manchester United want to sign Jean-Claude Todibo from Nice this summer, but are yet to work out what they're willing to pay. Chelsea and Tottenham are ready to sign him. I think considering that Ratcliffe owns Nice and we want him, and reportedly says Romano, there's a deal going to be done for about 34 to 40 million pounds. I'd assume that Man United would pay about 35 million pounds to sign Todibo and get that deal done. The only way I don't think they get Todibo is if Branthwaite's available for 60 million and they say they want Branthwaite first, or they have a first choice centre back up at Todibo. But I have a feeling we're going to get Todibo because of Ratcliffe's relationship with Nice. It'd be quite worrying if he let Todibo go to Tottenham or Liverpool on a really, really good deal, especially because Todibo's open to the Man United move. It was also said that Manchester United are interested in Nice's left-back Melvin Bard as well. Fabrizio Romano confirmed that United will sign a left-back as long as he's under £25 million due to the fitness issues of Shaw and Malacia. And you can see how much it's hurt us this season. We're going to talk about that in the 5 things we learned. But Garnacho didn't have a great game, and Rashford's not had a great season, but the left wingers have no support due to the lack of left back this season as well. It was also said by Adam Craft that Manchester United have cancelled the club's traditional end-of-season awards dinners, as the club's on-field performances have nosedived towards the end of the campaign, with the club saying they do not want to provide distractions ahead of the FA Cup final. Bish, bash, bosh. Good on that. Belder, Ratcliffe, focus on the FA Cup final. That's the only way we're getting into Europa League. We need the Europa League for money next season. We need the trophy of winning the FA Cup. We need to beat City. And it said that Bruno Fernandes will likely miss the Wednesday game against Newcastle. I'm at the point now where our season's probably over. Like, we're not going to get 6th place. We're not going to be in the Europa League. Whereas I just want to keep everyone fit. So for the FA Cup, we could actually play our stronger 11 going into the FA Cup as well. And Ten Hag said this as well. You can't progress as a team with so many injuries. It's like swimming with your hands on your back. You have to keep your head above the water level. We're still in an FA Cup final. And I think that's what Ten Hag's doing, saying I'm not going to risk Bruno, I'm not going to risk Martinez, who actually offered to play because they're not fully fit, which is smart. But I want to talk about 5 things we learned from the 1-0 loss to Arsenal, which, to be honest, Arsenal didn't try their levels ahead of us. It's not good. But with the injuries we had, I don't think it was an awful loss. And I thought Amad Diallo was particularly impressive. I think when I actually look at the loss and I look at everything, I actually think the Ten Hag got a lot right. But Ten Hag said this on Amad. He played very good. What he did was he was expected to do. He was brave and creative and defended very good. I was pleased with his performance. Amad put in an all-round shift. Defensively, positionally, was good on and off the ball. When he got the ball, he was definitely the most threatening. His dribbling was so good. He was coming deep, receiving the ball, dribbling up the pitch, dribbling into central spaces, and Arsenal couldn't deal with that. He almost won a penalty. He was causing Arsenal the most problems. It's just such a shame he got injured. What I like about Amad is he brings that control to the final third because he keeps the ball. He doesn't do an Anthony and pass the ball backwards or shoot and give it away. And I like Garnacho because he always goes forward and he's so direct. But Amad is so good at keeping the ball, just holding it for a little bit, just putting his foot on the ball, then playing that pass forward, waiting for others to catch him up, progressing the ball, coming in central, causing issues. And I thought his retention and progression was so much needed in that final third today. It offered a different profile. And I always think, Amad and Elise are right wingers next season with Garnacho and Rashford as our left wingers next season. I think we're in a much better position wing-wise. And then if we could have Højlund and Acuna as our centre-forward profiles, that would be even better. But as I said, considering the injuries, I know we lost, but it wasn't that bad. I think Ten Hag got his tactics and lineups correct. Ten Hag played a less transitional approach and decided to be a little bit safer in possession with his approach, which is what I really like to see from Erik Ten Hag. And I think that he got his lineup correct, dropping Eriksen, dropping Anthony that were atrocious, for Amat, for Amrabat. I thought Amrabat had a really good game. And I thought that actually tactically, approach-wise, Ten Hag got it right. Considering Arsenal top of the league, considering the injuries we've had, I can't really fault Ten Hag. And I do think the players gave 100%. This was one of those scenarios where the players gave 100%. Ten Hag got it spot on. He picked the best lineup we could pick. He got his tactical approach spot on, but we made a stupid defence with Casemiro falling asleep. We made a stupid mistake, We defensively fell asleep. We made a stupid mistake. Arsenal defended well and we couldn't really create enough in attack because we don't have Bruno, our sole creator, and we lost the game because of that, but we arguably deserved a point. We got a point versus Brentford. We could have lost that game 3-0. We didn't get a point today. We deserved a point today. It's just sad to see how far behind we are with Arsenal, not even trying. Now, I think Garnacho was poor and had one of his worst games in a United shirt, and those last 10 minutes was poor. But I'm not going to turn on Garnacho, who seems to be getting a lot of hate, because I think he will be a top-class player. The way I look at it is he started, I think, 35 or 36 consecutive games. He's mentally and just physically exhausted. He looks just exhausted. He looks just done. And you've also got to remember, Ten Hag's transitional approach he's played this season requires Garnacho to do an insane amount of running. Also, we hear about the amount of running they've got to do in training. His legs look like they've fallen off. He looks mentally and physically exhausted. He looked desperate to make things happen. But when Garnacho got the ball, yeah, he was wasteful. But where's the support? Where is the fullback overlapping him? Where is the good passing option? He's isolated on that left wing at the moment because of structural issues. And Rashford had that earlier in the season because we don't have a left back. The left winger is isolated, and we're assuming them to just basically take the ball from the halfway line, run all the way up the pitch in such a large space, do so much, take on so much, and deliver a final end product with no support. You've got to feel a little bit sorry for Garnacho. And I think, his decision-making final ball was bad. But when you're 19, that's normal. If he's 24, that's concerning. But at 19, when your decision-making final ball is bad, that's quite normal. He's raw. He can be adapted. I think back Garnacho, I think he can be a top player. I love that whenever he gets the ball, he wants to make things happen. Didn't have his best game today, but the guy is physically exhausted and gets no support. And I don't think that's his fault. He almost needs a rest, to be honest. Going into the fourth thing that we learned, and that is that Man United do not get strikers involved in play, which is why I'm worried that if Sesko came to United, as good as he is and as brilliant as a signing it is, he would flop like Højlund. You look at Højlund having, 35 shots in 27 Premier League games when Haaland, Solanke and Watkins are having 3 times more shots. You look at the little service Højlund gets. And while Højlund was poor, and while Højlund's, yes, his back-to-goal game could improve, it was good at the start of the season, it's really dropped off. We're not even trying to find Højlund when we play. There's no attacking cohesion. There's no... Højlund knows that it's going to go near post. Højlund knows it's going to go far post. There's no attacking cohesion. There's no plan to involve Højlund in play. There's no plan to utilise Højlund. He's just an 11th man on the pitch that's got to try and find a way. We need a system that's either going to implement Højlund, or we need to get a different profile of striker like Acuna and Xerxes and realise that our wingers are quite good with output and facilitate the wingers. Because Højlund wasn't great, but Højlund couldn't do nothing at the moment. It's not necessarily his fault. Now, the fifth and final thing we learned from the game is that I thought Amrabat was decent. And I think, we've played 2 games with Amrabat and Maino together, and they've only conceded 1 goal. And that was against Liverpool in the top of the league and Arsenal, who were top of the league as well. 2 difficult games. And I think defensively, Amrabat helped us out a little bit in midfield. I think we were technically secure. We kept the ball better. Obviously, Arsenal allowed us to have possession, of course, but I thought we were better out of possession. We looked more defensively comfortable. Arsenal only had 1 threatening attack, which unfortunately they scored from. I guess you can count the corners and the Onana double save, but they only had 1 threatening attack in open play, which, considering we're conceding 30 shots this game, is quite good for us. But I thought our build-up and control and care of the ball was so much better. We weren't just whacking it long and giving it back to Arsenal. We were keeping the ball a lot better, and I thought Amrabat defensively was decent, but I think on the ball and build-up he was a lot better as well, and he did complete the most final third passes. Anyway, people, that is my roundup of all the latest Manchester United news, as well as doing a 5 things we learned from Manchester United 0, Arsenal 1. Let me know your thoughts down below. Smash a like, smash the subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.